אין כאלוהינו, אין כאדוננו, אין כמלכנו, אין כמושיע.
This week's Parsha is the Parsha known as Yitro, which is Jethro. Jethro was Moses' father-in-law. Now this Parsha is the most famous Parsha of the year in the sense that it has the Ten Commandments in it. There was a time back in the 50s and 60s when some more liberal synagogues didn't go according to the cycle of reading when it came to bar bat mitzvahs. They didn't go week to week to week in terms of the Parsha, but they would allow the bar bat mitzvah to choose which Parsha they wanted to read at their simcha. So of course the most popular was Jethro, Yitro, the Ten Commandments. What could be more powerful than the Ten Commandments and the impact it's had upon all of Western civilization? But that's not what I want to focus on. I want to connect to the Ten Commandments, but interestingly enough, the Ten Commandments is at the end of the Parsha. It's not at the beginning. And the reason is because part of the Ten Commandments is illustrated by something that happens in the earlier part of the Parsha. That's when Jethro returns the wife of Moses and his children. Jethro has been keeping his daughter and his grandchildren with him during the time of the confrontation that Moses had with Pharaoh for a very simple reason. One of the ways to get to Moses would have been for Pharaoh, we know that from modern period of time, actually throughout all the ages, you go after the family. And then you have what to bargain with. You can threaten, you can cajole. So Moses' wife and children leave, go back to Midian for protection. Now it's over. We already read about the splitting of the Red Sea, the end of the threat from Pharaoh, and it's time for the children of Moses and his wife to return to him. So Jethro doesn't want them to go unaccompanied, so he travels with them. Now at this point, Moses has defeated Pharaoh. The story of the Red Sea is spreading throughout the Mideast. The great triumph of Moses, the 10 plagues. Moses is right now a very powerful and important man. Jethro comes to see Moses, to bring him his wife and his 2 daughters. And what happens here? He says, I, your father-in-law Jethro, am coming to see you. I'm bringing your wife and your 2 sons. And then this amazing verse. Moses went out to meet his father-in-law. He bowed low and he kissed him. Each asked after the other's welfare, and they went into the tent. So here's Moses busy, very busy, after having this amazing victory over Pharaoh. His father-in-law is coming. What you expect the father-in-law to be brought into the tent of Moses and there for them to reunite. But Moses wouldn't do that. In front of everyone, in front of his people, he runs out of his tent, he bows in front of his father-in-law, which is a way of showing respect, and he kisses him. So what has Moses done? Moses has demonstrated what the real meaning of kaved et avicha v'et imecha, respect your father and your mother, honor your parents. His stature, his status, his accomplishment is irrelevant. He may be the leader of the Jewish people. He may be the one who defeated Pharaoh. But this is his father-in-law. This is also the man who gave him a chance, who took him into his home, who told him, go back to Egypt. This is what your God has asked you. Go back to Egypt with my blessing. At this moment, in spite of the fact that Jethro doesn't compare in stature or importance to Moses, he's still his father-in-law. He's earned the respect, worthy respect, and Moses shows it to him. By doing this in front of the whole nation, the great Moses bowing to his father-in-law, he is living, emulating, teaching by example what later on will be one of the most important and pivotal commandments in the Ten Commandments, the 5th commandment, to honor your father and your mother. That's why the rabbis chose to start the Parsha with the story of Jethro. It's not enough to just issue a commandment, honor your father and your mother. You have to show how to do it. And he goes one step further. Jethro then makes a suggestion to Moses. He sees that he's extremely busy all day long dealing with issues of conflict amongst his people. He's like a judge. And Jethro says, this is going to exhaust you. You can't handle every single issue. So why don't you appoint some judges to serve below you to handle the simple cases. If there's something very complicated, they'll bring it to you. But you need a little help here, Moses. And what does Moses do? Moses doesn't say, who are you to tell me what to do? I take my orders only from God, or look what I've accomplished. He says, Dad, that's a very good idea. I'm going to do that. I'm going to establish a system of justice. So who establishes a system of justice? It's Moses, but based upon a suggestion from Jethro the Midianite. It's an idea that comes outside. of Moses' realm, outside of the Hebrew nation, outside the Torah in the sense that it comes from Jethro. So what is the Torah teaching us? You know, when there's a good idea out there, listen to it. Not every great idea emanates from Moses or emanates from the Jewish people. We encounter nations, other people of wisdom, who have great ideas. They listen to us, we listen to them, and together we can build a better world. So what Moses emulates in this story is to respect one's parents, and also that knowledge and wisdom is not unique to any one people. Every people has something unique in terms of knowledge and wisdom, and the best thing is to learn, and you learn by listening. Moses illustrates these two very important ideas in this week's Parsha. Then it ends with the Ten Commandments, the statements. But prior to the statements, we have Moses living the ideas and teaching us through his action. Honor your parents and accept wisdom and accept learning from whatever source it comes. Judge it by its content, not by who is the messenger. Beautiful lessons from this week's portion of Yitro. Shabbat Shalom.
Thank Eloheinu,